everybody. Welcome to another WC Conversation. Today we're talking about investment attraction in Wheatland County. And I'm Patrick Earl, Economic Development Officer with Wheatland County. And we have here today Jamie Kramble, our brand new investment attraction specialist. And we're going to get into that topic on a deep dive. Welcome, Jamie.
Hi, Patrick. Glad to be here.
Great. As many of you know, Wheatland County is just east of Calgary, about 20 minutes on our western border. And so we're going to talk about the aspects of investment attraction, the opportunities, etc., with us being where we are and the county and its assets. And investment attraction is part of the strategy in economic development with Wheatland County. Working on our 6-channel philosophy, the philosophy of brand development, which we've completed with, of course, the WC brand. Sector focuses, identifying the sectors that we'd like to try to entice to come to Wheatland County. Investment readiness is the aspect of getting everything ready to be able to talk about investing in Wheatland County. As well, another channel is business retention and expansion. That is looking to see how we can work with our businesses on ensuring that they can expand practically in Wheatland County and efficiently. And then retention, just making sure that we can look at succession planning and supports for our businesses that exist already in Wheatland County. From that, we look at investment attraction, and Jamie's here to ensure that's going to get off to a great start. Based on the investment readiness that we've been working on and what he's going to add to that mix. And then finally, we have visitation, and visitation we see as tourism as well as business visitation. So hosting businesses to take a look at the county is an aspect of a tourist experience. So we put visitation into its own category about inviting anybody to Wheatland County, either for recreation or for business. So with that, Jamie, how would you like to give us a little bit of your background and tell us what you bring to Wheatland?
Yeah, so I have a background in government. I've worked for Alberta Agriculture and Forestry. I spent about 1.5 years there. I was in an investment attraction manager, largely dealing with the U.S. market and working with venture capital firms to try to attract firms to invest in projects in Alberta. I also did a lot of planning ministerial travel, and I also managed the Stampede Investment Forum that was held in Calgary in 2 consecutive years. Other than that, I've worked as well for municipal affairs, Alberta Emergency Management Agency, where I spent some time as a manager of the strategic planning and design department there, working on the recovery branch strategic planning and also working with insurers on overland flood insurance. Also spent some time in China. I lived in China for many years, and I spent about 2 years at the Canadian Embassy in Beijing, where I worked with agri-food exporters to China, working on getting Canadian food and beverage products into the market there. And then I spent time working for a private consulting company that was working on CETA Inc. Industrial Cooperation Program applications on behalf of Canadian investors that were looking at opportunities in the Chinese market. And I also spent time in the oil and gas industry as well, so I have well-rounded knowledge of different sectors.
Excellent. So can you give us a bit of insight into what you're looking at on investment attraction and the strategy that you're building out?
Absolutely. So I've recently finished an investment attraction strategy action plan that was presented to the Wheatland Council. In that, there's a variety of tools that we're going to be building to share competitive advantages with investors. A little bit of benchmarking of Wheatland County to our neighbors like Nehill, Vulcan, Rocky View, even Calgary, Mountain View, to see how we rank in the area as far as key factors that an investor would look at for site selection. Also going to be putting together some profiles for the agribusiness sector as well as some of the other sectors that we're examining. Looking at pitch decks, obviously. Other things that we're going to do as well in there. Looking at, let me think for a second, there's so many different items. Looking at Some of the area advantages, as I was saying, uh, putting some flat sheets together that we can hand out at trade shows, and if missions start up again after COVID, hopefully they could be handed out to foreign investors as well. So looking at putting together a list to find out who's in our backyard as well. So what type of businesses are here? One of my key focuses will be on the agribusiness sector. Wheatland is primarily an agricultural region. The majority of our land mass, our land base here is zoned agricultural, and we have a lot of strengths in that area. It's kind of a breadbasket for the region. I think there's something like around 830,000 acres of cropland in the area. We have lands in the western part of our county that are irrigated through the Western Irrigation District. So we have sort of a certainty there as far as precipitation. We also have about, I would say, about 8,000 residents, but growing. Most of the residents are engaged in some form of either agriculture or in some of the other industries that we have in the region as well.
So what about what do you see as some of our competitive advantages, compared to other areas in the region, and
Yeah,
perhaps even looking at the city of Calgary and our proximity?
absolutely. So number one advantage that we have, I think, is proximity. We're about less than 40 kilometers from the western edge of Wheatland to the Calgary International Airport, about 300 kilometers from our county as well to Coots border crossing in Montana. So we have proximity to market, proximity to logistics and transportation hubs. We're serviced by both rail carriers, so both CN Rail. CN Rail operates a spur to Lyalta in the north of our county, and CP runs the Calgary-Saskatoon line through the southern portion of our county. So we have rail access. We have a high load corridor, which is Highway 1, that runs through and sort of bisects the county and provides us access all the way to Calgary and then all the way east as well. Highway 24 runs through it also. So we have easy proximity to Highway 1 that runs, or sorry, Highway 2 that runs south to the US, as well as to rail. We have, as far as agricultural inputs are concerned, 830,000 acres roughly of farmland. A lot of that is wheat, canola, and barley are the main crops in the area. A large livestock industry with about 150,000 head of cattle, 95,000 roughly head of swine. So the materials are there for processors who are interested in the area. Other advantages, we have fairly competitive land prices. We're actually, of the areas that I've compared, our agricultural land is the lowest in cost. Other things, labor cost is quite low in the region. Our median family income is the lowest as well of the competing regions. And then we also have the logistic advantage. So I would say there's when an investor is looking, they often go and they'll look at the map and they'll pinpoint certain areas they know, whether it be Calgary or Edmonton, and then they'll draw a radius out from there and say, okay, we don't really need to be in Calgary. There's high tax rates in Calgary. Ours is also second lowest in the region. And they'll say, where can we locate outside of the city of Calgary, but still have the advantages of being near the city? And then Wheatland County would come to their, come on their radar. And I think that's kind of where we come into play, is that we stack up really, really nicely in the region. So I think that's kind of one of the key things that we would offer an investor.
So we also, with access to labor, we have Calgary
Yes.
and the community surrounding Calgary itself in every
Yeah.
direction. But we also have a couple of municipalities, self-governed municipalities within Wheatland County, such as Strathmore, 15,000, three
Yeah.
other villages that total probably about 700 people, and then our 9 hamlets that are urban nodes within Wheatland County that we govern and provide servicing to as
Yeah,
well.
you're absolutely right there. Strathmore itself has about 15,000 people, but it's a self-governing municipality within the borders of Wheatland with its own government, and it also has a lot of the shopping and residential hub for the county as well. Within Wheatland, we have 2 main areas that are focused on business. One would be the Origin Business Park, and then in the south of the county, we have the Goldfinch Industrial Area in Carseland, which is a heavy industrial area for the county and one of the only heavy industrial areas in the area around Calgary.
Yeah. So with I'm trying to think the aspect of you coming in and starting to do investment attraction, and you've been here since February of 2021, so relatively new. And just wondering, we've been operating in group internally within administration called Team Wheatland. So can you tell us a little bit about Team Wheatland and what it does?
Absolutely. So Team Wheatland is a tool to help me in the investment attraction role. It brings together our internal stakeholders within the county. So people that work for the county in the area of the agriculture people, the planning and development, and also people that are concerned with environmental issues and other things like that. So it becomes, and possibly we can also bring in people from finance as need be, and assessment. And that
And
kind of acts help support us. That's correct. So it
yeah,
kind of provides us with a bit of a platform internally in order to raise investment files, to talk about investment opportunities, to look and see where there could be any hurdles. And then if there are hurdles, how do we remove them so that we can attract that investment? I think part of it is that we want to send the message that Wheatland County is open for business. We're proactive. We want investment in the county. We want to grow in sustainable ways, and also want to capitalize on our competitive advantages and use those in order to help us grow. So Team Wheatland is a platform that then we can use in order to kind of broach any new files that we come across.
great. And yeah, so uh, let's see. The Economic Development Board is basically brought in as a representative or a speaker with council. Council approves our board members and such. So with the Economic Development Board, we've broken them into three subcommittees. One of them being investment attraction, the other one is tourism and business development, and the other one is social media and marketing. But how do you see the board working with you on the investment attraction aspect of your role?
Sure. I kind of see it as being analogous to the Team Wheatland, but being people that are more externally faced, businesses in the community, for example. They can kind of help us to see where businesses are having challenges or where hurdles can exist for them. Obviously, most growth can come from the internal businesses that are already here. And so we want to see where their challenges lie. And it's kind of also acts as a tool for business retention and expansion. Businesses as well have a value chain, and they deal with complementary businesses that provide inputs. They also have customers. If we can attract some of the the companies that are supplying them to the county, that also acts as a channel for investment attraction. So there's a whole host of strengths there on the council as well. We have people that are involved in investment, people that run businesses in the county, people who provide services, and then also we have elected officials. So it kind of provides a well-rounded platform for us, kind of a sounding board almost, where we can raise issues and we can get feedback that we might not have seen from our internal people or might not have heard from our internal employees that are on the other Team Wheatland County Council.
Awesome. And then I know you're working on this stuff right now, but do you want to sort of give us some insight into our large sector type of businesses, say the ones that perhaps are in Goldfinch industrial area or along West Highway 1? And I know you're new, so but
Sure.
I know you've seen a few that are
Yeah.
quite big employers and also do a lot of production for Wheatland County.
Yeah, so down in Goldfinch, we have a lot of the big agriculture business companies in the county. A lot of them run elevators, grain elevators, grain handling. Down in Goldfinch, we have Nutrien. We have Orica as well that does explosives. Nutrien that does, I believe, ammonia fertilizer. And then there's some
Great.
other. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's correct, I believe. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
up Origin's kind of in a state of development and growth and expansion. So we do have several anchor businesses already there, but it's also growing. So I would say that is less developed at the moment than the Goldfinch area. But again, there's opportunities for businesses in both areas.
Great, and obviously they can look at our stronger already established businesses to perhaps partner with and either get feedstock or produce even more refined product.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So, anything else you want to sort of throw into the mix here that you just want to pose in this conversation?
Yeah, I think since I've come to the county, one of the things I've realized is that there's, like I said, there's a lot of strong competitive advantages in the region. We're an ideal place for an agribusiness investor to locate, whether that be something in the value chain like an agriculture machinery dealership, which we currently lack at the moment, or it be further processors of our agricultural commodities. Whether it be canola, wheat, barley, oats, field peas, any of that type of thing. We have a strong a producer base in the county, government which welcomes development in that space, as well as very reasonable land and labor costs, and then the transportation advantages. So I would say, if you're looking in the area of southern Alberta, we should be your first destination. You should approach us first. We'll look and see what we can do to help you in that area, because we certainly want your business. We also have another thing I wanted to mention. We have the kind of a formation cluster of, organic producers in the county. We have organic producers of grains, vegetables, and even honey, and some specialty livestock producers as well that are, whether they're organic, but they're sustainable and they don't use antibiotics and so forth. So there's a cluster formation in that area. Another industry that I hadn't known about prior to coming to Wheatland County was what we call the chemical industry. So we have several businesses that deal with explosive type devices. We have fireworks manufacturers, we have ammonia fertilizer, we have mining explosive manufacturers, and then we also have a licensed facility in Wheatland that can do decommissioning of munitions for police and military, which is one of the only facilities in Western Canada to do so. So we almost have a bit of a formation of a cluster that I never expected in that area, which I think is unique. It provides a bit of diversification. We have strong opportunities for sustainable, kind of green energy producers as well. We have some solar development, and there's obviously space for more. Yeah, so there's tourism is another aspect, another industry that we're growing. Being part of the Alberta Badlands, I think there's untold opportunities. We have some very beautiful areas such as Rosebud. We want to has a theater school there, so it's another area.
Great. So, yeah, with that, thanks, Jamie, for today. And I'm sure this will be the first of many conversations going forward to talk about the things you're building out in investment attraction. And for everybody out there listening and watching, please follow us on infinitewc.ca. We have YouTube, podcasts, obviously. Please subscribe and keep in touch with us on what we're putting out there as conversations. And if you're looking at getting more information on our planning and development, visit the Wheatland County Municipal site at wheatlandcounty.ca. And again, thanks, Jamie, and we'll chat more.
Yeah, looking forward to further conversations. Thanks, Patrick.
You betcha.